Previously on MDA.
Your notes are a bit ambiguous.
Whether my notes back me up or not, this is irrelevant. None of this caused Matthew's intellectual disability. He was like it from birth.
This particular patient was referred to me, a man.
And what, he's come on to you?
No, the problem is, the police think he's killed someone.
Maybe she's coming on to you.
No, she's asking me about my work. I keep waiting for her to ask when I stop wetting my bed, but...
And you'd be more comfortable with that.
Well, isn't that what psychiatrists are supposed to ask?
I don't think you should tell Caitlin. I don't think you can, as a lawyer.
Yeah, I know that. But I mean, what would you do? The guy she's seeing is suspected of murder.
I'm not going to Iceland. We can still talk.
And what exactly will we talk about?
We're going to talk about life and chess and us.
I got a call from Mark Matthews this morning.
And?
And I told him I'd take the job.
You've beaten me in again.
Hi, Layla. Just something I've got to do. Been thinking about it all night.
It must be important.
Just got to find the right tone.
Good luck.
Can you print my emails for me? That one from Amanda Mackay, can you print that as well? That should be about the Rosenbaum case. Thanks.
So, just run this past me again. We're looking at negligence arising from treatment for testicular cancer back in 1983.
The effects of the overlap of radiation took 15 years to manifest.
Justice Perry granted an extension to the statute of limitations despite Amanda's strenuous arguments.
DePazzo paid subs up to and including the years he treated Colin Kiley.
DePazzo has been dead as a Christmas turkey for the past 3 years and has no estate to be indemnified.
Yes, and his patient is incontinent and paralysed, and we have an obligation to compensate him.
The only obligation we have now is moral, not legal.
Well, legally we're in the clear. But if you want to get the worst kind of publicity, refusing indemnity is the way to go.
Ella's explained a little bit about how things work around here.
No, it usually works a bit better than it has lately. We've been really busy.
Jamie, hi, how are you?
Simon?
Have you met Amanda?
Peace and harmony. Oh, yeah, I saw your tattoo.
Ah, I think you have. Don't believe everything you read. Glad to have you here.
Thanks very much.
Sure, I'll pass that on.
If we compensate Mr. Carley, it will cost us $1 million, conservatively.
So what do you suggest, Bill? Toss a coin? Yeah.
Simon Lloyd's here.
Oh, we won't be a minute, thanks.
What we need from you, Mark, is the board's attitude. Should we be indemnifying a dead doctor's no longer extant estate?
OK, on the one hand, we've got a nightmare of controversy, on the other, a nightmare of expenses. What else is new? Now, I've got to get to the hospital. Can you do me a favour and lay off any contact with this Kiley fellow's solicitor until I contact the board? I'll do a bit of a ring round this afternoon.
OK.
Simon, hello.
Ella,
Welcome.
hi. Thanks so much.
You know Mark Matthews, our president?
Welcome and all that. Look, I'd like to stay, but I've got a busload of bypasses to carry out.
Got a decision under Pat's own Mark?
I'll let you know when I hear from the board.
Okay.
Bye, Layla.
Is
I'll be in
that
theatre.
anything I should know about?
Bye. The board's deciding if we should offer compensation when our member's deceased and has no estate to indemnify.
Meaning now there's nothing for the patient to sue.
That's exactly right.
But in this case, the patient's heading for life in a wheelchair.
Which is not legally relevant in this case.
Assuming legality is the only issue.
Can I have a look?
Sure. Anyone want toast?
No, thanks. And Simon, this will be your desk. I'll have it cleared tomorrow.
Right.
But for today, Jamie's working on a case that failed to resolve at mediation last week, Rosenbaum and Gosper. And we thought you might like to start there.
Okay, we're representing...
Gosper, ENT bloke. Removing a pharyngeal pouch, he perforated a patient's esophagus.
All right, well, that's not uncommon for that kind of surgery.
This patient ended up with a paralysed vocal cord, and they're claiming failure to warn. Gosper's actually due in any minute to talk through his evidence if you want to join us.
Yeah, thank you.
While we're at it, maybe we could have a look at these. They need medical assessment. There's an OMG case. There's plastic surgery that won't arrive just for a change, and an orthopaedic botch-up. Jamie and I are going to be in mediation, so any questions, just save them up.
Yeah, well, or I can ask Ella.
Yeah. Welcome, by the way.
Thanks, Bill. OMG and Orthopod and Plastics, now I'm right in thinking they're our biggest customers?
With GPs not far behind.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Gosper.
Hi. Our man's here.
Hope I don't rumble.
Mediation on Mrs. Rosenbaum failed?
We're going to court.
Right. So you're up to speed on everything?
Absolutely.
Good. Caitlin, Justin Harris.
God, Richard, can't you take a hint?
This is not happening.
I'd really like to come to work and it not be about my personal life.
Have you read your emails yet?
Oh, you read my emails now.
It was from Amanda Mackay. I thought it was about Rosenbaum. He's suspected of killing someone.
Yeah, I can read.
That's obviously news to you. So, Amanda, does she have any reason not to be straight with you? Whatever's going on, he's obviously in trouble.
I'll talk to him.
And to me, that suggests trouble to anyone he's going out with.
I'll talk to him.
You can't.
Why not?
Because you are a lawyer, Caitlin. Compromising a police inquiry, tipping off a murder suspect is not a good thing for a lawyer to do. Nor is sleeping with
Mind your
one.
own fucking business, Richard.
You need to think this through.
I don't think I need to hear that from you.
I understand this must be difficult for you, but you've got to think about what you're jeopardising here.
You know, I'll take your concern on board.
Staking a lot on someone you don't know very well. Just be careful of yourself and of your career.
Like I said at mediation, I warned Clara Rosenbaum of the risks of removing a pharyngeal pouch. She agreed, I removed it, and now, thanks to me, she swallows food without choking.
Mr. Gosper used a Dolman's procedure, rigid endoscope through the mouth.
Yeah, I thought that'd be safest given the location of the pouch. And the perforation repaired to the textbook.
Preoperatively, there was nothing to suggest the presence of the bacteria.
Nothing. I mean, how completely, freakishly, unbloody lucky was she that it was there, that the perforation occurred, that she got the infection?
That's certainly a very remote chance.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when the poor woman lost her voice.
Mrs. Rosenbaum's side will say it's a risk you should have foreseen, that you should have warned her.
Except that'd be like warning her of the risk an elephant might escape from a zoo, and of the 3 million people in the city, squash her.
Somehow I don't think you should say that in evidence.
And look, if I'd done a crap up on Clara Rosenbaum, I'd take it on the chin, but you know, she's suing me for something I didn't cause.
These days, even a remote risk is enough to convince a jury that a doc's at fault.
Would you have mentioned that risk?
Probably not.
Clara Rosenbaum had to have surgery. And sooner rather than later. She'd barely be swallowing liquid by now.
Mrs. Rosenbaum's also saying that you failed to warn her that there were other surgeons who were more experienced at doing this.
Whoever she went to, she would have run the risk of perforation. It's a recognised risk.
How many pharyngeal pouches have you actually done?
Lots, when I was in training. Mrs. Rosenbaum was only my 5th solo. I may be newer to this game than some, but I did a good job.
It's not surgical negligence that you're being accused of.
No, it's It's failing to warn her of this remote chance of vocal cord paralysis.
And failing to warn her that you're not the most experienced surgeon in the field.
I'm being sued for not being 50. I mean, what is that?
Thanks very much, Mr. Gosper. We'll keep in touch.
Sure.
You're really up to speed.
Hey, thank you. It seems fairly straightforward.
I will leave Mr. Gosper in your capable hands then.
Right. Is there a phone that I can use?
Yeah, sure. Use mine. In fact, use my desk. I'm off for the morning.
Right. Thanks. Hello. Professor Chung, please. Simon Lloyd. Hello, Harry. Simon here. Off the top of your head, what are your thoughts on Dolman's procedure? For pharyngeal pain.
I'm going to organise a cake and a little prezi for Ella. We're all going to put in. Do you want to?
Is it still the best?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Became infected. Yeah, my understanding is it's random. Would you be able to confirm that in writing?
Any ideas what we should get?
No, I will. I'll leave that up to you. Something nice.
Okay. Thank you. And to you. Thank you. According to Professor Chung, Gosper didn't put a foot wrong.
Great.
Jamison, are you ready to go the mediation against that unctuous gerbil Munro?
Almost.
Good.
You want to talk about this?
It's perfectly normal as far as I can see. Ella, I'm going to mediation. You're busy here. Jamison, let's move. We've got 5.
The stats on Dolman's procedure are good for Gosper. It's easily the best way of removing a pharyngeal pouch. The case against him doesn't seem very strong. I just think that it's a bit unfair that he faces court over the whole thing.
I think they're testing the limits of failure to warn.
They being...
The plaintiff's lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a med-neg specialist called Richard Savage.
Right.
I heard you'd cross swords. Sure you don't want some?
No, I've had breakfast, thanks.
This is lunch.
I'll wait for lunch.
You eat by the clock?
I eat when I'm hungry.
And that just happens to be at the same time every day? Run at 6 a.m, then brekkie, lunch at 12:30, dinner at 8. Never more than 2 wines?
You've really got a problem with the notion of self-control?
Not at all. I fantasize about it. Amanda Mackay.
Hi.
Hi. You got my email?
Eventually. Richard got to it first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have called you before that happened.
Okay. So what else do you know?
Only what I put in the email.
So why do the police suspect him? And do they have any evidence?
Not that I know of. But if they're recording his sessions with Dr. Smith, they must have something.
If you were in my place, what would you do?
Caitlin, I don't know. Have you spoken to him about it?
I can't believe he'd murder someone.
Well, the police have been wrong before.
that I feel I should stay.
Really, Mr. Eagleton, it's my advice that you leave negotiations to me and wait in the anteroom, right?
What's Munro doing, banishing his client to the outer darkness?
There's still some stuff in Matthew Eagleton's records I'm not really across.
Jamison, we've had those documents since Dr. Warner came in 2 weeks ago. I can now spell craniostenosis backwards.
Yeah, but...
Our defence is hardly compelling as it is. Jesus. You all right?
Never better.
So have you heard from that young woman of yours lately?
No.
Oh. This is only Munro if we can't best him.
Think we're right, chaps?
I'm glad you could make it.
You call, I obey, our mistress.
I hope this doesn't mean dinner's off tonight.
No, of course not. I thought, though, that you might have an appointment with your psychiatrist.
Not today. You all right?
Well, it's just been a weird morning.
Yeah, I tell you, the sorts of cases you deal with, you need a break.
Why don't you go and see Dr. Smith?
Guilt? Shame, remorse, anger?
Guilt. What for?
My business partner committed suicide.
You feel responsible for a suicide?
Dennis was a gambling addict. He was borrowing money from the business. I confronted him about it. We had an argument. The fuck off and die kind, and he did. Threw himself down a lift shaft in an office block we were building.
Were you there?
But I was the one that found him. It knocked me around.
I'm sure.
I found living with myself difficult afterwards. It's been better since I met you. Is that all right?
Yes. Thank you.
Can we go and have lunch now?
Yes.
According to Gosper's surgical master, he was a better than average student.
Great.
And according to every website I've consulted, the rate of esophageal perforation is pretty much the same across the board, so he was clearly working within the best practice.
I think you found your calling.
Do I get one of them?
It's mine, actually. I had such a bad chair in the last job I had in Adelaide that when I came here, I had to indulge myself. You know, it was the beginning of a new life, new me. Flat near the water that I can't afford, plus new furniture. I left everything with my ex.
But this bacterial infection is a very rare and random occurrence, so Gosper's been crucified.
And because of MDA's member, this happy little boy has an intellectual disability. A disability which is directly attributable to a delay in surgery to unfuse his skull plates. As the Eagleton's GP, Dr. Warner had the simple task of referring Matthew to a paediatric surgeon for that surgery at the proper time. A task obviously too difficult.
Our sarcasm is not helpful under the circumstances.
Surgery to correct craniostenosis like Matthew Eagleton had is routinely performed at 24
Yes,
months.
Dr. Warner should have explained that deadline to the Eagletons.
Dr. Warner is quite sure he did explain it to them.
Not well enough.
His records show he had several conversations with them about it.
And as you point out, Dr. Warner was in fact the Eagleton's GP, yet Mr. and Mrs. Eagleton did not visit Dr. Warner for almost 2 years, from when Matthew was just over 1 until he was 3.
Your point is?
My point is, for most parents, the merest mention of any surgery would make for an excess of proactivity about his health.
I don't think the Eagletons' parenting skills are the issue here.
That's right. The issue is your member's delay in referring Matthew Eagleton for corrective surgery, a delay which led to pressure on his brain and his mental retardation.
The issue is whether the boy's intellectual disability had anything to do with the skull plates being fused at all.
It doesn't take a genius to figure that the delay in surgery caused it.
Convenient, leaves you're not a genius.
Bill, Do you have evidence of other causes?
Dr. Warner observed signs of developmental immaturities in Matthew as early as 3
If you're implying
months.
it was genetic, the DNA test the Eagletons had done, clean as my mother's laundry.
Oh, and that's intended to reassure us, is it?
Plus, Dr. Warner makes no mention of disability in his patient records.
He cites Matthew's failure to meet standard stage for age levels of social interaction.
Does every baby reach its milestones according to the book?
And Dr. Warner is certain he told Matthew's parents he suspected intellectual disability from birth.
Mrs. Eagleton have no recollection of any such conversation.
Because they didn't want to hear the truth about their baby, they stopped coming to see Dr. Warner. The delay was entirely of their doing.
My clients are caring parents. I don't know how you treat your own children, Mr. Henderson.
Personal comments
I
are not
found
necessary.
exposing them on a mountainside during winter brings out their best.
Your jibes, Mr. Henderson, I'm impervious. What I would like is for them to produce a skerrick of evidence that until Dr. Warner's gross slackness, Matthew Eagleton was anything other than a normal little boy who just needed some special surgery done by the appropriate time.
Bill?
I wonder if my colleague and I might have a moment to confer. Jamison?
Dr. Warner shouldn't go down for this. There's something not... It's like there's something I've missed.
I suspect an offer is in the offing.
We shouldn't make an offer.
If we don't make an offer, we'll end up in court. And a jury full of parents is not going to find Dr. Warner's scanty notes as nearly as compelling as they will a weepy mum and dad swearing blind their baby was perfect.
Dr. Warner wasn't slack in treatment or advice, and we've got to be able to prove that.
Believe me, I'm exceedingly happy to make Munro's life uncomfortable and perfectly willing to spend the afternoon talking him down to a reasonable figure, but I will not take this to court. You don't have to be here, you know, Jamison.
I'm fine, really. Really, I am. I just need 30 minutes. 40 at most.
Okay. You've found your perfect proof, and I'll tap dance and play the spoons.
Do you have an offer to make?
We're not sure that we want to make an offer. We need proof of causation, and Munro has not given us that.
I would have expected you to have your own arguments a bit better prepared.
I'm sorting through the facts.
It'd also be good to be out of here before sundown.
Okay. Jeffrey?
Yes, Bill?
Your considered opinion. Is Munro the slimy, oily ferret that he appears to be?
A figure, Bill.
Gosper did his ENT training under a surgeon called Ralph Brandon, and I've left a message for him to give us a call.
That's great.
What do you think our chances are?
I think lack of causation's on our side. Although apparently Mrs. Rosenbaum's the motherly type, so she'll present really well.
But with a paralysed vocal cord, she'll sound like a Dalek.
Ella?
I came down to look at some files and got stuck.
Big mistake.
Look at this. Our first case together. I remember thinking, how on earth did this man get the nickname Happy?
Everything's going to be different now. Caitlin's gone, now you're going, it's all changed.
Yeah, change. Very good thing. Remember when you first started? You could hardly look a doctor in the eye, and now look at you, practically running the place.
I was absolutely hopeless. I can't believe you actually hired me.
It's all I can do to stop myself from poaching you. But I'd never do that to the big guy. You'll look after him, won't you?
Of course.
100,000. Is that all?
I'm assuming they're offering that as a deposit. Mr. Henderson, that's a deposit, right? When can my client expect the other 90%?
Is that your final position, Bill?
This would never stand up in court, Munro, and you know it. This is a reasonable offer.
Mr. Eagleton, this is just MDA's sad and sorry attempt to wear you down, to erode your entitlements. It's not going to sway me. The offer's rejected.
You're making a grave mistake.
Look, my client is the parent of a disabled child who needs his care. This is going nowhere. Let's end it now.
I do have some sympathy, Bill. Where are we at?
I'll confer with my colleague. Tethers in, Jamison.
It's okay. I think we got him.
What, have you found something?
It's what I didn't find.
Have we got a new offer?
Mr. Munro. This letter from the neurologist refers to a DNA report done on Matthew Eagleton.
Yes, a report that found no genetic evidence of your member's claim of retardation from birth.
Yes, that report's here, dated March 1988.
Your point is?
Well, the DNA report referred to in this letter is dated March 2002. That report's not here.
I recall no such report.
Well, it obviously exists. I'd like to see it.
It'd have made no difference. Matthew's DNA was clear.
Different tests show different results. I'd like to see it.
In there are dozens of documents all supporting the same conclusion. Your member stuffed up. But you MDA people can't face that, can you?
We'd like to see it.
This is ridiculous. I insist we move along in the interest of bringing this mediation to an end.
The DNA report is material evidence. We have a right to see it, Jeffrey.
Perhaps, Mr. Munro, you could call your office. Have them look for this document.
Pointless time wasting. Hello?
Malformation of chromosome 12. Matthew Eagleton was disabled from birth.
Just one contrary report among dozens that incriminate your client.
The boy's disability is genetic.
The 1988 DNA report found no defect.
15 years ago, they were doing DNA tests with divining rods. This is an up-to-date report.
Done by the top pathology lab in the state.
It's genetic. This report entirely exonerates our member, yet it was the one document that was missed being sent to us.
Perhaps Mr. and Mrs. Eagleton have not been entirely forthcoming.
You were able to get the report from your office without too much difficulty.
Are you attempting to imply something, Mr. Henderson?
Would you prefer I used a blunter implement of direct accusation?
Perhaps, Mr. Munro, we should go and talk with your client. Explain how this changes things.
Slight change of plan, Mr. Eagleton.
Never has the pudding of proof tasted so sweet. Well done, Jamison.
Eagleton must have known for months the DNA results were against him. I think it was guilt and grief that kept him trying, fed by Munro's desire to beat Happy.
And how was the big guy?
Willing Munro to morph into a cane toad?
And Munro?
Cane toadish.
Does the lawyer get charged with concealment?
He'd only say he forgot.
Package for Lila Young. Just sign.
Happy. Look. Oh my God.
What's the matter?
Well, it's supposed to say good luck. What do I do?
You'll think of something.
And there's this. Just you to go. Maybe a message?
Morning, everyone.
Just leave it with me.
Bill, got a minute? So how kosher is this, Bill?
What do you mean, refusing to indemnify?
Yeah. Will it stack up in court?
If we go that way, yeah.
And do you think Amanda knows her stuff?
I have no doubts in that regard.
Well, Ella's not exactly jumping up and down with joy at the idea.
Ella's opinion doesn't hold the weight that it once did.
Ooh. I don't detect a note of bitterness there, do I?
Not at all. I'm just stating the facts.
And you don't buy this argument of a moral obligation?
Not to put too fine a point on it, MDA's survival could be at stake here. Should we indemnify where there is no absolute legal imperative?
Yeah. To be or not to be, that is the question.
Fascinated to know what your fellow board members think.
Yeah, you and me both, Bill. Sass, Mark Matthews. Yeah, fine, thanks. Listen, a rather delicate situation's arisen that needs a board decision.
Leave it to him.
Look, I'm ringing you first because you always have a good perspective on these things.
Give us your hand. Oh, well, I'm not going to buy it.
It's beautiful.
You told me to buy it.
Oh, it's a talking bracelet, is it? Thank you. I was thinking about what you told me this morning.
About Dennis?
Must have been a shock.
It was his choice.
And it was definitely suicide.
But that's not what's written on the death certificate.
What do you mean?
He left behind a family. A compulsive gambler doesn't exactly make for a great provider, you know? Didn't want to blow his life insurance. So when the police came to investigate, I lied. Then to the insurance company.
Right, so you told the police it was an accident?
The cops thought it was a bit off, the guy that designed the building forgetting where he put the lift shaft.
Did you tell Dr. Smith any of this?
God, no.
Maybe if you did, this could all be resolved.
What's to resolve?
Would you like me to explain tonight's specials?
Give us a minute, will you?
Any Trent?
Vince, Mark Matthews. Yeah, look, a rather delicate situation has arisen that needs a board decision. I'm ringing you first because, well, I know what a good perspective you have on these matters.
They think I killed him. Fuck me, when did you find this out?
This morning.
This morning, and you didn't tell me?
Couldn't. A lawyer can't compromise an ongoing investigation. It'd be unethical.
Ethical? Yeah, of course. I can't believe you didn't tell me. Hey, Just, cops think you murdered your best friend.
It's not as simple as that.
Yes, it is. Or did you think that I was a killer?
No, I don't.
Who told you? Was it Smith?
No, I can't.
Is that why you've been going on
tell
about
you.
her? I can't believe that you didn't tell me.
I've been thinking about it
Good
all
for
day.
you. We're sleeping together. Wouldn't have been that hard a decision for me.
I'm sorry.
It's not good enough, Kate. It's just not good enough.
Justin. Justin! Why are you being like
Now, everything I did. I've been a friend, your lover, and you've been a lawyer.
No, I'm sorry.
Have you ever heard of a little concept known as trust, Kate?
What are you talking about?
I opened my heart to you. Why? Why couldn't you trust me, Kate?
Because I had to be sure.
That I wasn't a murderer.
No, it's not an easy question to ask.
Well, at least you could have tried. You had every opportunity.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I believe you.
You'll pass that on?
That is the general idea, yes.
Okay, I will. Take care too. Bye.
I hear you're leaving us, Ellen.
Vince, yes. You'll be bereft. Today is my last day.
Good.
Oh, nice one, Vince.
Well, what I meant was it's good that St Albans is employing someone who can actually spell their own name.
That it is.
Good luck and all that.
Thank you, Vince.
Can you get everybody into the conference room? I've gone over the Depart-So thing with the board, and they think that it might be better for us in the long run if we take the strictly legal option.
Despite your pleading?
Well, I tried to argue both sides of the case, Bill. Mind you, Vince Phillips seems to think that if he weren't on the board, we'd be organising sausage sizzles to pay the wages.
And this sets a precedent for MDA.
That's the board's decision.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Oh, come on, Ella. You're going to tell me this is a disaster? They're going to rebound and bite us on the bum?
No, I'm just here to pack my things and go, Mark. I think that what they're doing is wrong, but it's out of my hands.
Point taken. Mind you, you're not exactly going to the dark side of the moon, are you? And there is one good thing about you leaving us.
Really?
You're now eligible for a position on the board.
Oh, Mark, I can think of better ways to spend my spare time.
We could do with your expertise, Ella. Navigating through all those stormy seas.
You make it sound so appealing.
First position that comes up on the board, you have my vote.
Anything to stop Vince Phillips establishing a power base. How do you know I wouldn't side with Vince?
Well, that's a chance I'm prepared to take.
Early start.
Got any more emails for me?
This sort of thing's out with...
Don't worry, Richard. Your reputation's not at stake any longer. Nothing is.
You've made the right decision.
I get the Richard Savage seal of approval, do I?
Do you want some time off?
No, Richard, I just want to work. I came here to work. I just want to bloody work.
Well, that's good news. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Or there's the
Thanks, sir.
Olsen exhibition. Yeah, no, I can pick you up around 8. No, Gina, I'll pick you up around 8 o'clock. Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.
Oh, Happy. Dr. Smith just called.
Well, our KGB psychiatrist.
Justin's found out about the bugging.
Was he thrilled?
Not exactly. Accused her of unethical behaviour.
Perfectly reasonable, I would have thought.
But claimed to be equally disillusioned with the legal profession.
I expect he was talking about Caitlin then.
Presumably.
Speaking of said erstwhile colleague, we need to inform Cato and Pittman of our intentions.
I'll do it.
The pleasure's all yours.
Hi. Yes, Caitlin King, thanks. It's Amanda Mackay, reader Pat's on Kylie.
Hi.
Hey, I don't have much time today.
Right. It's just that I know that Justin knows about the bugging of his sessions.
Yeah, I told him.
Really? What happened?
We're no longer seeing each other.
I'm sorry.
Why should you be?
I only told you because I was trying to help, and I just thought that if I were you, I would have wanted to know. What about the police investigation?
It's a waste of time, evidently. I thought this was a business meeting.
Right. The MDA's board has come to a decision about Pat's on Kylie.
The board made a decision. What do you mean?
It is unbelievable. Plene administrative. Bill's pulled a Swifty.
Colin Kiley gets nothing.
Not necessarily,
Well, discretionary indemnity's hard to argue down.
but not impossible.
Well, MDOs aren't insurance agents. They do have discretion.
As long as it's not exercised capriciously.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Don't worry. You'll never win that one. We have Amanda Mackay to contend with you, and I bet you $1 million she's behind this.
Oh, I just can't believe Ella let it happen.
Well, you've obviously been a little preoccupied lately.
Meaning?
So you haven't heard?
Heard what?
Ella's leaving MDA.
Ella?
Yeah, she's going back to St Albans to work full-time. So this Rosenbaum case, you've been preparing the brief. I'd like to hear your line of argument.
Are you keeping tabs on me professionally as well as personally now, Richard?
Caitlin, don't be paranoid. It's an interesting case. It's a complex line. I'm interested. That's all. Okay?
Rosenbaum and Gosper, what are we thinking?
Bryce Gosper's nervous about having to give evidence, and I don't think he'll make a great witness anyway. We could make Mrs. Rosenbaum an offer, settle before trial.
We could. You've been here a whole day, Simon. What's your considered opinion on this?
Well, I don't know what sort of witness he'll make, but medically Gosper was spot on. There was no negligence. He warned the patient about the risk of perforation. Now, he couldn't be reasonably expected to have known about the bacteria present in the throat, and I believe the vast majority of doctors would have done exactly the same as he did.
Unfortunately, that defence is no longer any good to us. Let me tell you, Caitlin, little savage stews that she is, will be seeing how far she can push us on failure to warn. Well, thus far, and no further. Infantry to the fore, cavalry to the rear. Amanda, prepare your defence.
We're going to do Ella's cake.
Okay.
I've actually prepared some stuff, and I'd love to run it past you sometime, Happy.
Well, now it's fine. No, look, it won't take long. Sit down.
So, Ella, you start at St Albans.
First staff meeting tomorrow morning. Tonight's my last shift before officially I'm director as from next week.
Yeah, so, what's your first directive gonna be? Bit of coffee for the doctors? Think about it.
You'll love the challenges, though. And everyone hears about that.
What happened to get well soon?
The surgery was inevitable, and the harm that eventuated was inherent in that surgery. And if there was no negligence, which there wasn't, then it could be argued that Mrs. Rosenbaum didn't actually suffer any harm.
Doubt they'd swallow that, pardon the pun.
I think we'd better go.
Thanks. Amanda, have a drink.
Hey, where's my glass?
What's Happy doing?
I'll get him.
Well, just let him take his time.
Oh, you fixed it up. It looks beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah, I haven't missed the cake, I hope, have I?
Oh, no.
Here we are. Here's some piece for everybody.
There's also sparkling apple juice if anyone wants it.
Come on, Layla, we can't have a toast with sparkling apple juice. Amanda. Jamie, just a drop for you. Simon.
Just a little bit here, Buck.
Everybody.
Where's Bill?
I'm serious.
Come along, Bill.
Yeah.
Everything all right?
Yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine.
A toast.
Here he is.
Let's have a toast then.
Yeah, I'd be better off with a glass of bubbly in my hand, I think.
Right, everyone. I'd like to say a couple of words. I haven't actually given a farewell speech for some time, but, well, this isn't the official board farewell. That'll be in a couple of weeks when we order some pizza in. And I'll save my speech till then. However, I'd like to say a couple of words in...
Memoriam?
Well, no, not in memoriam, on Ella's behalf.
Save it for the board.
Well, someone's got to say something.
Happy, maybe, do you want to say something?
Yeah. Poetry. Poetry is the best words in the best order, said Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Unfortunately for the unpoetic, the best words tend to vanish when you need them most. True friends, on the other hand, are always there. And Ella, you have always.
To Ella.
Yeah.
To Ella.
Yeah.
Ella.
Cheers.
Good
All the very
luck.
best.
They're going to say the risk was inherent, whoever she saw.
But it's a false argument.
Why?
Because it assumes the degree of risk was the same regardless of the experience of the surgeon. Bryce Gosper had only been qualified about a year and probably only done a couple of pharyngeal pouches altogether.
So you'll be acknowledging the virtues of superior skills and experience.
I'm imagining they'll keep their arguments pretty general, so...
Caitlin, don't pussyfoot around. You've got to attack the defendant. Bryce Gosper may have been qualified, but he was inexperienced. And he didn't tell the patient. Experience, that's what counts.
Assuming you're given the chance to get some. You're taking over the case, aren't you?
Yes. It's a big case for the firm. It stands to set a precedent. Of course I'll be instructing solicitor.
Actually, it's got your name on it, hasn't it? There's my phone too, Ellen. Oh, see you. Take care. Look, you too.
Simon Lloyd speaking.
Oh,
Here you go
sorry,
now.
can you
Yeah, I've got to. I'll help you take your stuff down.
It's very distressing. When did it...
Well, handsome Harry, I'll see you in the suit.
I'll be there.
Right. And is there a reason why it took so long?
Where's the big guy?
Okay, understood.
No.
So it's dated the 14th.
Okay.
Who is representing
Bye.
the plaintiff?
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, that's
That's the solicitor.
No, we're going to have to read your case
No,
report.
I can't make a judgment on that at the moment.
You did keep some written reports?
Right, well, we'll need to see the writ and your case notes as well. When can you make it?
I see what you mean.
Yeah, a common problem.
No, we should
Would the
just
weekend be better? 7 to 10 o'clock, sure.
So how long is she?
Yeah, okay, well, we will see you then.
It's this guy.
I'll miss you too. You keep in touch. Wait.
I'll take your stuff down.
Look, I don't want to keep this here. There's no point in keeping it here because no one in the office knows the difference between a King's Gambit and a Sicilian defence. It's just going to gather dust.
You realise I would have won the game.
Possibly, but we'll never know.
Do you remember the moves?
Perfectly.
I'll set it up in my office.
I will play Knight to King's Bishop 4.
No. I'll call you. First thing Monday morning.
Common sense is our clearest defence.
Does my learned friend expect that the entire surgical system will be staffed by only those doctors with vast experience?
So you've got to get judge and jury to look at Clara Rosenbaum as an individual.
That's what I'm planning.
Moving past generalised patterns of acceptable adverse outcome, focusing on loss of confidence, loss of job.
To Mrs. Rosenbaum's vocal cord wasn't directly damaged by the perforation, but by the throat infection subsequent to the perforation. That breaks causation.
Mr. Gosper's surgery had nothing to do with it.
Yes, I shall be making that point.
Bill, so how are you going to cope without Luella?
I think we'll survive, Richard, but thank you for your deep concern as to our well-being.
Would you give her my regards when you next see her?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Mr. Savage?
How important is today's decision?
Right. This is another important victory for patients' rights. Justice Perry said doctors have a duty to warn a patient of all the risks associated with medical treatment. Mr. Gosper failed Mrs. Rosenborn there, plus he failed to disclose to her his level of experience.
Will doctors have to disclose this information in the future?
Absolutely. Doctors have to treat their patients with respect and honesty. They have to tell them exactly who the best person for the job is. Doctors can no longer arrogantly fail to disclose their level of experience. Justice Perry said doctors...
I've always thought there was a sense of authority about you. It's very strong.
Thanks. You're not bad in front of the camera yourself.
Oh, you know, gift of the gab and...
No, you're very good.
It's necessary.
I think that's a furphy, personally. It just means doctors have to be upfront
Mark's
about
last
their level
bottle.
of experience, but
We toast our failures.
ipso facto that a patient will necessarily seek
Arrogant in
treatment.
victory,
What this
sullen
does mean
in
is that
defeat.
a patient about to undergo medical treatment